wait. The bar's got that swing. Glasses clink, hear the ice cubes sing. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Salut and welcome. Good to see you. Happy, what is today? Today's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Oh, man. I don't know about you. Do you get do you start getting a little bit drowsy, a little bit sleepy around the midday time? And that has nothing to do with, the liquid lunch. Let's say hi to all of you that have made it here today. Even though he can't stay, he won't be able to stay and listen because his nurse is coming in a few minutes. He says, have a great show. Thank you so much, Big Al of Big Al Presents. You are wonderful. You guys always know, if you can't catch me live, you can always catch me Memorex at your convenience. Just go ahead and hit that watch later. And you can watch me later. Last call with Troy Pacelli. Hello, love of my life. Hello, love of my life. She says to share, subscribe, and become a member. And I know that she can't stay either because she has a meeting today that started, well, it should have started 5 minutes ago. So I hope everything's going well over at your work meeting, Netter. Yes, it is lunchtime. Salute, Curtis Selby. Meg Paul, what's being served up today, bartender? Well, what does the song say? There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin. Lynn Green, hello. Hello, Lynn Green. I hope you are doing well today. Me and my monkey. Right here in the chat with me. Good to see you, my friend. Glad you're here. Hail all, smash the like button, enjoy the show. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Jonathan Conroy. I took a short nap yesterday about 3. I often do on my days off, but on my days off, I don't always drink caffeine. So you must have been tired if you had caffeine and were still able to nap. Caffeine doesn't really affect me that way. I get that daily in the afternoon. Sugar levels drop. Yeah. Well, that's probably why, we have a midday meal, I suppose. But so today is Tuesday, so the shtick for today is we will talk about whatever you want to talk about. Let me tell you, yesterday was pretty vibrant. I went a little bit over by almost a quarter of an hour, and I apologize about that, but we really got into it. That stream, by the way, was one of my most successful liquid lunches in terms of viewership. I had 3 times more viewers on that stream than I have for any other liquid lunch. I also had like 500% more downvotes, which I suppose isn't saying a lot. I think the last I looked, I had about 7 downvotes and about 20-something upvotes. So I also had more upvotes than usual. But I apparently upset a lot of people. Some people have some very strong feelings about Superman. And I think maybe I will maybe get into it again on Thursday after the reviews start coming out. But a lot of people seem to be kind of running interference for James Gunn. And I think a lot of that is based on a lot of copium and a lot of comparison to what we've gotten before, which isn't a high bar to begin with. Well, now see, I am seeing less of the Snyder Bros than you might think, Lynn. What I'm seeing is, I guess we've got to come up with some kind of a term for the gun bots. I think there's a lot of people coming out to stump for Gunn, less than Snyder Bros. What I've heard from other commenters is that Snyder Bros were coming out to cast aspersions on Gunn, and I'm like, I'm not seeing it. Or if they are, then I guess I'm a Snyder bot, because I have my own opinions about Gunn, and they are not positive, and I haven't liked a lot of the things I've seen about this new Superman movie. And but yeah, I am not a Snyder bro by any means. I hated everything about the Snyderverse, except perhaps the casting of the main 3, perhaps. How are they bothered, Troy? I need more on that question to be able to answer. I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, Darth. Welcome, by the way. How are the Snyder Bros bothered, or how are the Gun Bros bothered? I guess what I was saying was, I got a lot of downvotes on my video. So you guys that were here yesterday, you know what I was saying. I wasn't real positive about the James Gunn Superman, and basically the overall topic was why I will not be seeing it. And so I had a lot of people coming and downvoting it, because I guess they disagree with my decision not to see it and my reasoning. I must assume that because all I have is the downvote. When you get downvotes, you never get comments saying why I'm an idiot and why they're downvoting me. So there's really nothing to speak to on things like that. Gunn really needs to stop running his mouth, yeah. Now, one of the things I'm hearing is that, in fact, Culture Casino this morning kind of walked back. I don't want to say walked back. He self-corrected. He made a comment earlier in the week, quoting an article from Vanity Fair, only for him to find out that Vanity Fair did not properly attribute what Gunn had said. Gunn had said something, and Vanity Fair misquoted him. Now, you have to read very closely what they say. They put what he said in quotes and then tack on some of their own words. And people tend to take it all as he said that. So I guess the quote was something about, I pay no attention, is what James Gunn had said. And Vanity Fair said that he said, I pay no attention to the haters. He literally didn't say to the haters, and they tacked that on. And so it's gotten to the point where you can't believe anything you read in the media anymore. But it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter to me what Gunn actually says. I've seen enough of what he has said himself in social media forever to know who the guy is and where he comes from. So that in and of itself is enough for me to at least be skeptical of this Superman. But like I said, from the trailers, and especially the trailers related to Mr. Terrific most recently, that's enough for me to know I'm not interested in this movie. Period. Doesn't matter. Doesn't even matter what Gunn says. I saw one of the characters on Geeks and Gamers Daily. Oh, I saw one in the chat on Geeks and Gamers. Yeah, well, they have a much bigger audience, so they get a much wider range of people. Darth Plato's, yes, the trailers don't look good. I can say that. Darth Plato, by chance, did you see my Liquid Lunch from yesterday? You don't necessarily have to go back and watch it, but I did cite a video that talks about the whole situation with the character assassination of Mr. Terrific and the terrible stereotypical even racist portrayal of Mr. Terrific in the movie. As a thinker, did I read that right? Yeah, as a thinker, Gunn is a lightweight, so my critique of his comments are sound, and I will defend against anyone. Okay, I don't remember your comments, but your comments in general tend to be pretty sound, Darth Plato, so I have no doubt about that. Hello, Joe. Reviews for Superman have been mixed so far, and tone is silly for many. I'll take your word for that, Joe. I've only kind of seen some of the reviews today, and all the ones I'm seeing are really positive, so much so that I question them. And again, many of them are from people I tend to trust and agree with. And if I'm questioning people I generally tend to agree with, there's definitely something more going on here. But if you're seeing a bunch of negative reviews as well, we did talk about an early review that came out from The Blaze yesterday. That was an accident on their part. And it was pretty negative. So that alone substantiates exactly what you're saying, Joe. The trailer looks goofy. Well, there were multiple trailers, but they all kind of look goofy in their own ways. Ill thought out and lack dignity. Yeah. So one of the big criticisms I've been seeing of people, and again, remember this is Tuesday. I didn't set a topic. I'm kind of just going with the flow, and we're talking about this because you guys seem to want to talk about it, and I'm fine with that. Everyone's kind of ripping on the fact that it seems to be all Gunn all the time. It's Gunn wrote it, he directed it, he's producing it, his brother's in it, his dog is in it, double wide trailer because that's what he grew up in. I mean, it's all the Gunn story. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He also seems to be in charge of the marketing. and the marketing is all over the damn place. Now, would it be any better if Warner Brothers' own marketing department was on it? I don't think so, because the marketing for all of entertainment for over a decade has been ridiculous, clearly indicating that marketing people do not understand their audience and do not care about the audience. They have whatever, and I don't mean political messaging, although that falls into it, but whatever message the marketing department wants to get out, what they want to push out there that their film is about, this is it. And it's clearly not what the audience wants, which is why, for example, the Marvel films are all just petering out. Welcome, ussarn. Good to see you. Wasist Wabbit. Yes, exactly. Welcome, Bo. Breaking news. How to Train Your Dragon made $600 million globally. Had a $150 million investment. So maybe go see How to Train Your Dragon instead of Superman. It sounds like an endorsement there. Positives come first, and after noon you kind of get the full picture. Okay, if that's the case, then I'll see what's coming out this afternoon. But you're probably onto something there, Joe. You're probably onto something there. So what? You didn't like a movie? It's okay to say that it is a right you have. I like to think so. Yeah. If it's my opinion, right? It's my lived experience, right? Jurassic World Rebirth made... Yeah, I was hearing some good things about the box office on that. 160 million to make. Yeah, I think it's going to do well enough. Look, Jurassic World, more than most of the franchise films that are out there, what it doesn't make at the box office, it should more than make up for in toy sales. Dinosaurs are evergreen, and Jurassic Park brand in particular just does very well, despite a lot of missteps that the toy company has been making with that. You were polite to those who said they were going to see it. Yeah. No, by all means, if you want to see it, go see it. I don't want to yuck anybody's yum. I am not a Snyder bro in that regard. But by all means, I would hope that you would then come back and tell me, I was right, I loved it, it was wonderful, or, yeah, you were right, I shouldn't have seen it, I wasted my money, or something like that, you know? Just thumbs down or an accusation of factless comments should be given little account. Well, it's hard to have much in the way of a fact-based comment if the movie's not out yet, right? All we have to go by is the trailers. I've just seen enough in the trailers that even if the movie is good, I've decided I'm not going to be seeing it and they're not getting my money. Boo! Don't see the new How to Train Your Dragon movie. Just watch the original. We don't want DreamWorks hopping on the live-action remake bandwagon. Well, I don't know enough about it, to draw a comparison. But if they're gonna make, live-action remake of an animated feature and it's actually good, I'm not gonna hold that against them. I think you'd be better off doing sequels, but whatever. And if you're an animation house, make animation and do more of it and better, Breaking news, Apple announces F1 sequel is in the works. That one seems to be a no-brainer, right? It's gotten such great reviews. I think it's doing really well at the box office. So, I encourage the entertainment industry to capitalize on success. and understand why it was a success, so that the next thing can be a success as well. Don't pull a Megan 2.0. I like the live action How to Train Your Dragon. It wasn't as good as the animated. It's not going to be. If something is so good and so classic that you are tempted to make a remake, you shouldn't make a remake. There's nothing that says you can't re-release a classic film in the theaters. You absolutely can. Welcome, Connie Cleary. Good to see you. What we're seeing is folks praising this movie and then turn around and say, you haven't seen it, you can't judge it. Well, it's what I've always said about trailers. If I don't like the trailers, and they don't get me to want to go see the movie, the trailer didn't do its job. The marketing didn't do its job. And my mind is made up. That's what trailers are for. That's what marketing is for. So all of this stuff around the marketing, most specifically what I've seen in the trailers, but all the talk, all of the leaks, all of the, comments in social media and in the trades and stuff, it's on Warner Brothers for not taking control of all of that and making me want to see this movie. So, yeah. I think except for Matt Reeves' Batman, I don't think we'll get truly solo comic book movies. Is that CBMS? Comic book movies? Anymore, because audiences don't respond more, because audience does respond more to movie containing multiple characters at the box office. And I think that's going to be the biggest problem. Well, for the average audience, it's sounding more and more like this is a commercial for the upcoming DC cinematic universe than it is a Superman movie. It needed to be a Superman movie. For $2, Geek Flag with Nate Knows. Welcome, Nate says, "What's up, my brother from another mother?" And chat, welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Joe says, and it's easy to market ensemble movies because there are too many spoilers, and you can hook the audience in this way. Yeah. And it's a scattershot approach, right? Oh, you don't like this character? Well, look at this character over here, and then there's this. Look at the dog, right? That kind of stuff. Oh, wait, I just brought that one. Okay. Welcome, Jada. Good to see you. How to Train Your Dragon not only has sequels, there are at least 2 TV series on the show. Yeah, so it kind of makes me question, if you're going to do a live action remake of a live action, right? Because it's all CG, right? It's still animation. It's just different animation. But you're going to do this live action remake of the original. Are you going to do that with the sequels as well? Don't know. The original How to Train Your Dragon is a masterpiece. I may have to revisit the original How to Train Your Dragon, because I saw it, I liked it fine, but I don't remember much about it. And of course we've got Booger. Good to see you, my friend. Got to here sort of on time today. Can't drink since I have to work in a couple of hours or so. That's fair. Salute. It doesn't have to be an adult beverage, but make sure you stay hydrated. To be fair, I think that's what TBF is. Live action How to Train Your Dragon could have potentially been cheaper to make. Animating walk cycles for background characters is expensive. Hiring an extra is cheap. Good point. Hadn't really considered that aspect of it. F1 the movie had a production budget of $250 million, and its currently worldwide box office is $293.6 million. That's a problem, because it's going to need to make twice that much in order to be considered profitable. The first 3D movie I ever saw was the animated How to Train Your Dragon. That holds a place in my memories of wonderful movies. I haven't seen a recent 3D movie. The last 3D movie I saw was Dune done in 3D when it was on the IMAX? I can't remember if it was just big IMAX screen or if it was in 3D. If that was 3D, then I saw that one in 3D. But what I remember for certain was I saw Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland in 3D, and I did not like it. I mean, the movie was okay, but the 3D effects I did not like because it was like a picture box. The 3D aspect of it was three-dimensional from the plane of the screen into the screen. Whereas when I was a kid in the 80s and we went to see 3D movies, Jaws 3D, Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D, Treasure of the Four Crowns. These movies were 3D in that things would literally come directly at the camera, and you would... I think I've told this story before. In Treasure of the Four Crowns, there's a scene where the bad guy has the good guy on the ground, and he picks up a red-hot poker and brings it towards the hero's face. And you see it in first person as the pointer of the... And you can see the glowing end of the thing right between your eyes, and you can see the smoke coming off of it, and it's so realistic. You almost feel the heat from the poker. Of course, that's all in your head because it looks so realistic. Your eyes actually cross. It's, I haven't seen that kind of 3D. Yeah, the exact same mistake the Snyderverse made. Remake, reboot, remaining almost always suck. Yeah. I think you meant reimagining. Yeah, absolutely. If you look at something that is beloved, I'll go so far as to say a classic, right? You see something that's classic, that people love, don't change it. If you're tempted to change it, there's something else you want to do, go make something else entirely different. Don't mess with a classic. I call it buckshot movie, making you fire out a bunch of movies, with a bunch of characters. I hope it's one of them hits instead and being concentrated on making something good. Yeah. Instead of just having a vision for trying to make a masterpiece, trying to make something that's really good and putting your effort into it. No, they go for quantity and hope that something sticks to the wall, right? Lemon lime Gatorade. There you go. Staying hydrated. I say it all the time. Hollywood sees existing properties as problems that need fixing. This has led to our reboot culture. Yeah, and what really needs fixing is the entertainment industry itself. Have you heard Sony is interested in buying DC Comics IP from Warner Brothers, and they are quite serious about it? Warner Brothers is in debt, so the rumors are strong that Sony is very interested in DC and Harry Potter. Well, of course they're interested in DC and Harry Potter. There's money to be made there. By the same token, though, if Warner Brothers is in debt, they'd be kind of foolish to sell off the only thing that actually could make them money. Keep in mind, Harry Potter and DC Comics aren't just making money from the movies. They make money off the marketing. And Harry Potter and the DC Comics characters are constantly making money, even when there's no movie out. It's kind of evergreen, right? You don't specifically have to sell a Superman in the style of Cornsweat or Cavill, right? You just sell that basic comic book Superman as an action figure in multiple sizes and multiple iterations and whatnot, and people will buy them. That's just the truth. Warner Brothers probably can't afford to lose that revenue. But then again, I don't know all the details of their finances. And it would be interesting if Sony was to acquire DC Comics, and then they would have the rights to all of DC Comics and Spider-Man? That's weird. That's kind of weird. We'll see what happens with that. Also, I don't trust Sony because I've looked at what they've done with Spider-Man, and if they do that to Superman, I mean, could you imagine a whole bunch of Superman movies without Superman? The Adventures of Perry White, young cub reporter? No, not interested. When I lived in Indonesia, they played 3D movies, but there were no glasses. Well, that's a problem. That's a problem. Although you can buy 3D glasses on Amazon. Thing is, there's different styles of 3D. There's the red-blue 3D. There's I think it's like greenish and purple. There is the one where one is highly tinted and the other one isn't. There's the wavy pattern gray ones, and they all work differently, and they're not compatible with each other. Yeah, I didn't see Avatar in the theater, so I've heard that they had good 3D, but here's the other thing too. When you watch a movie on DVD, on your big screen, you can kind of get an idea of if it was a 3D movie, what the 3D effects would be like. And if you don't have a lot of scenes where things are coming at the camera, it's not going to be all that exciting in 3D, Oh, Maria, T and Telly. Maria has a new cooking video up as of last night. Make sure you go check out her channel. Good stuff. On the other hand, when they remake the movie without changing anything, what's the point? Exactly. That's exactly right. Once the story is told, here's my rule of thumb. If you want to remake it, can you elevate it? If not, if you're just going to remake it, just to remake it, or just to change the medium, don't bother. If you're going to do it to change it because modern audiences, don't do it. But if there is something that clearly was intended and is lacking, risk of causing people to wince, like there were scenes that Lucas wanted to do that he couldn't do because of technology and stuff. Fine, if that actually elevates it, which in Star Wars it did not. In Star Wars, you don't need Jabba the Hutt showing up to talk to Han Solo, because all he does is repeat all the lines that were in Greedo. The whole Greedo scene exists because they couldn't do Jabba the Hutt. People don't think about that. But they shot the footage with Jabba, realized they couldn't get it done, so they said, let's just have a henchman show up. And that's why the Greedo scenes even exist. And I could even get into what was filmed in London, what was filmed in California. There were more than one location for that cantina. Believe me, I've looked at it frame by frame. So if you are going to replace, if you are going to put the Jabba scenes back in, you need to take the Greedo scenes out entirely. Because that was the original vision. Yes, George Lucas's original vision was to have Jabba the Hutt in Star Wars. That's fine. But his original vision then was not to have Greedo. And none of this who shot first, who shot... Nobody would have shot. There would have been no shot fired if they had done the Jabba scene. I need to refill my drink, so I am going to very quickly go to station identification and let you know what we got coming up this week, and I'll be back in less than 3 minutes.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together. This week on Live from Sparkwood in 21, we will be taking a drive down David Lynch's Lost Highway, searching for where the road leads us, possibly to our own psychogenic fugue. Join us this Tuesday at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern on Deleted Scenes and Affiliates.
The Ultra spend their lives on Ultra World collecting information, and Callie and Avon's brain patterns are next on their list. Now the race is on. Tarrant and Dana must reach them before they are absorbed into the core. It's Ultra World, this Tuesday on Last Call Presents Blake 7 at 10 p.m. Central, 11 Eastern.
This Thursday night, Netter sits down with film analyst and writer Albert Lanier. You'll get to know him, hear about his long history in the industry, and of course, subscribe to his YouTube channel. It's Netter's Network, this Thursday night at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
This week on Saturday Night at the Movies, we have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada as Big Al presents The Last Starfighter on Films with Friends, Saturday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
Every Sunday evening, Aged Boomer and Papa Pacelli bring you the rundown of the week's geek news, or at least what they think is interesting. You may have heard about it somewhere else, but Boomer and Pacelli put a spin on it you likely won't hear anywhere else. It's Geeky Geezers, every Sunday evening at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
We now return to our liquid lunch.
Joe says, I think Sony wants an IP for themselves, which is why they are pushing for DC. Spider-Man will go back to Marvel if Sony acquires DC. That's how it would go down as... Why is that showing up? Remove. Remove from scene. Go away. Sorry about that. That's because I'm in the shared screen and I shouldn't be in the shared screen. Let me go back to the main stage. I think Sony wants a... Yeah. That's how it would go down as per some reports. And I believe, Nate said actually that would be brilliant on Sony's part if they purchase DC Comics. Whatever they paid for it, they can turn around and charge Marvel, Disney to buy back Spider-Man. I see the logic and reason there. I absolutely do. The question is, first, would Sony actually turn around and resell it, or would they say, you know what, we're just going to keep making money off of Spider-Man as well? I think... Doesn't Disney receive the right? Doesn't Disney hold on to the rights for the marketing? So I thought the whole reason that Sony was holding on to Spider-Man was because whether the movies do well or not, they had the rights to the toys. But I don't think that's the case now. I think Disney still gets the marketing rights. And if that's the case, there is no value to Sony to hold on to Spider-Man. They should just turn around and resell it back to Disney. But does Disney have the liquid assets to do that? I don't think they have the cash any longer. Disney is hurting for capital. But then again, what do I know? That's all entirely speculation based on nothing on my part. But since it was during my nearly all my teen years, it affected my movie watching. Okay, so there's something you said. I was in Indonesia long before Amazon. Okay, I see what you're saying, ussarn. I like the despecialized Star Wars, which I do have, and I have shown on my members-only stream. Upgraded effects, but original story. I also love the remastered Star Trek. where FX were updated with CGI and some sets were expanded digitally. So this is exactly, it's a perfect example. It is the best of all worlds in both cases. So for those of you that aren't familiar with what the despecialized is, the despecialized editions are HD renderings of the as close as you can get to the original version of Star Wars, while still upscaling all of the special effects and the color correction, all of that kind of stuff. I think, if I remember correctly, when they despecialized, they may have also done things where they might have like added a laser bolt or something to match up with the sound. You hear a laser bolt, but you don't see a laser bolt. Things like that, little minor things that were little corrections. In Empire Strikes Back, without getting too technical into how the special effects work, if you ever look at an original version of the Battle of Hoth, there's a lot of scenes from inside the snowspeeders. And as the snowspeeder is, weaving around and going between the legs of the AT-AT and so on and so forth, you'll notice that what you see in the windscreen bleeds through the support and then can be seen in the other window. And part of that bleed through is because of how they're rotoscoping. Well, not rotoscoping. Well, I guess it is kind of rotoscoping, the whole green screen, blue screen kind of thing. And in special editions, they digitally took that out so that you no longer had that bleed through. Well, despecialization does that as well. It maintains the integrity of the shots, but just cleans up the special effects. In the remastering of the original series Star Trek that she's talking about, there was a lot in the original series. Well, first, they digitized everything. They upscaled the color and everything, so everything's sharper. The audio is much clearer, as you would expect for any high-definition upgrade. But then for, like, exterior shots and some of the special effects, they cleaned those up. You could think of them as, like George Lucas's special editions, but they don't go that far. They had a lot of restraint. So scenes of like the Enterprise fighting the Doomsday Machine and stuff like that are recreated digitally so that you could get different angles and so forth. There's even a couple of really good ones where they break the whole 2D of space that you always see in Star Trek, which I thought was kind of neat. And they do some really neat very subtle things. So like, for example, in the episode The Arena, where Kirk is fighting the Gorn captain, right? The big lizard creature with the big microphone eyes, right? Well, there's this great shot when he's kind of lumbering into camera, coming into focus, and you start to do a zoom in on him just before going to commercial. And in the special edition, he blinks. And it's literally a blink and you'll miss it thing. You see it and you're like, did I just see that? It's actually a really cool little effect. It's kind of neat. Actually, he had both scenes, then realized he didn't need both. Well, yes, he did, but he was only going with the second one because he knew that there was the possibility of not having the first. He did end up making the choice. He made the choice of the one that he didn't have the effects for. If he realized he didn't need both, he never should have had both in his restoration. Yes, the Greedo scene would not only fit into a mobster movie, it fits with the Western idea that is very prevalent within Star Wars. There's a lot that he derives from Westerns. So there should be a scene like that. It makes a lot more sense than, talk with Jabba. The despecialized edition didn't have any upgrades effects. It's a Frankenstein edit combining every other original release footage that has the original version of each scene. That's not entirely true, Samuel. There were upgraded effects. They digitally went in and cleaned up a lot of scenes. There were a lot of... They would take from other edits if they had better special effects or more cleaned up or whatever. But in a lot of cases, none of them were good. So they did the best, they found the best that they could and would either color correct it or sharpen it or whatever needed to happen in order to clean it up. There was some work done to them. The 4K 77 cut, just a straight up 4K scan of the original print. Your eye is still on it. It's out there. You can download it right now and watch it. I have it. You should do that. You should absolutely do that. I'd be honest, I'd rather keep Spider-Man far away from Disney Marvel. They aren't any better than Sony. You're not wrong there. I think both are kind of useless. I wish they'd just stop. I wish they'd just stop. Disney Spider-Man merch only, not live action movie. Not sure what you're saying. Are you saying that Disney only owns the merch rights to Spider-Man that isn't movie related? Is that what you're saying, Jonathan? Sony made all those Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man just to retain the rights, because if they don't make anything with the character, the rights automatically revert back to Disney Marvel. You're right. And all of us believed that they did not have the right to use Spider-Man himself. And that's why they did it. And it turns out that wasn't the case. They could have used Spider-Man all along, and they were just idiots. Harmy's Despecialized Edition is the name of it. Yep. I've got that one too. The Harmy's Despecialized Edition. As well as the 4K 77 as well. And welcome Jason Fox from 540 Studios. Make sure you're subscribed to his channel. Or change the photon torpedo sound to a phaser sound to match what was fired. Yeah, that's another thing that they did. Little continuity errors, yeah. It would still be hollow, but now the sky you touch is totally different. Yeah, I guess. Kind of like the time a phaser beam came out of the yeah, that's exactly what Lynn was talking about, yeah. The battle in the Ultimate Computer is incredible, and some of the planets are amazingly beautiful. Yeah, instead of having the same, like, orange planet, they actually show a planet that is as it's described. If it's described as being Earth-like, they make a planet that's Earth-like, just with, different, continents and stuff like that. I would have liked some scenes with Biggs and Luke's other friends at the beginning. You know what I would have liked? I want the theatrical release on DVD, just a clean restoration, and then DVD extras of all those scenes. Just like we've always had for movies for as long as we've had DVDs. That's what I'd really like. The whole cantina scene is essentially a Western saloon. Booger is 100% correct on that. That's absolutely right. And the shootout is literally right out of a Western, The version I have has the AT-ATs deploying troops at Echo Base. Interesting. I don't really remember that. Which has more edits at this point, Star Wars or Thick as a Brick? I don't know what Thick as a Brick is. I'm sorry. I'm missing the reference there. Yeah, but still, Matanui, a Venom movie without Spider-Man. That makes about as much sense as a Lex Luthor movie without Superman. You know, it doesn't make any sense at all. Makes about as much sense as a Joker movie without Batman. Oh, right, they did that too. I've got Star Wars and Empire, but the guy my brother got them from had a heart attack, and when he was ready to get back to work, he decided to go back and upscale those two before doing Jedi. I need a good copy of Jedi with Sebastian Shaw next, and Sir Alec, and the Muppet. Yes, exactly right. I'm working on an Endor diorama, and that's how I'm doing it. It's gonna be old Anakin, not young Anakin. Welcome, Sergeant. Good to see you. Good to see you. Anyone familiar with the Green Lanterns in general? I am. In general, yes. Comic book history, yes. I don't know too much about what they've done with them in the animated series plural. But in general, I know a lot about Green Lantern lore and his past history and so forth. Actually, Troy, the reason why they couldn't use Spider-Man in all those movies is they didn't have Spider-Man in it because Tom Holland was cast by Kevin Feige, so he's under dual contract, so neither. That's what everyone believed up until very recently. Then they found out that they could have used Spider-Man. And you might be right. They couldn't use Tom Holland. They could have recast him for a fourth time. Sony cast 3 different guys to play Spider-Man. They could have cast a fourth. They absolutely could have. I'm re-editing The Acolyte since it was a shit show, but I'm making it a movie and changing everything to make a decent story, fixing content, audio, color, etc. So it's not The Acolyte anymore, I can say. Yeah, there you go. There's a bloke who did season 1 of Obi-Wan and season 1 of Ahsoka and re-edited them down into movies. Now, I have no interest in Ahsoka, so I didn't bother with that one. But the only thing that I've seen of Obi-Wan was this bloke's re-edit into a movie. Much more succinct. Still unnecessary. I still see no reason. And the fact that they're going to do a second season, there is no story to tell there. Why are you even telling that? Never mind. I could make a movie with him without the others agreeing to it, and Disney Marvel did not agree to let Tom Holland appear in those other movies. Thick as a Brick is a 44-minute long song by Jethro Tull. The entire album is one song, but they have released several 5-minute long edits with numbers. Yeah, I guess you would need to do that if you want to play segments of it on the radio, right? 4K 83 was glorious, and I got my Shaw. There you go. So 4K 83 is out there, Lynn. I thought it was too. I think I have it somewhere. Venom movie can work without Spider-Man needing to be in it. The issue is Spider-Man needs to exist in the first place. You can do a standalone Venom movie, but you need to establish his origin, and his origin is directly tied to Spider-Man. I mean, that's like telling Superman's origin without Krypton. You know? It makes absolutely zero sense. As the original Sebastian Shaw ghost is Anakin. Yeah, that's the way it should be. Here's how to fix the Acolyte. You delete it from existence. Well, I agree with that, too. I know there are multiple different groups of Green Lantern Corps that use different colors, and each one based off of emotion. Yeah, that's fairly recent. I think that is since the New 52 reboot. Reboot, sort of. Where's the steak? Okay. I want to see the original concept of Obi-Wan where he goes after missing Luke. There are glimpses of it in the show. Yeah, I agree with you, but even that story didn't need to be told. I used to work in the film world, so it's fun to make it into a KOTOR style timeline film. And new story, new style, better context. I just watched, and if you haven't seen it and you have any interest, you really should. Michael French over at Retro Blasting did a great deep dive on Rogue One, basically talking about how it was, after they changed directors and, changed a bunch of things in the scripts and re-edited it, it became a whole different movie. And what the original movie most likely would have been. And as I looked more into the storyline of Rogue One, I saw that there were elements in that story that could totally fit. It doesn't replace the canon of who is that? The video game character from the video game character who stole the Death Star plans. He was sent by Mon Mothma. I forget. But when I looked into the lore for both of them, I realized that they are actually very compatible. And I would love to see that. I would love to see somebody do a side project with that character. Green is will, yellow is fear, red is rage, pink involves love and affection, black is death, orange, blue, and brown. I am curious to know. Blue, I believe, was healing or something like that. I kind of forget. I don't know what orange is, but Lex Luthor was an Orange Lantern for a while. Yeah, not sure. Started 5 years before... Okay, it started 5 years before New 52, which is why Green Lantern was Frankensteined in New 52. Okay, that explains a lot. Yeah, I kind of fell out of it just before New 52. Things were starting to go pretty bad at that time. Different color lanterns in and of itself is a retcon. In my day, there was only green and Sinestro with a yellow ring and no core behind him. Yep, Booger is 100% correct. Red Lantern being Rage began as the survivors of the sector wiped out by the Manhunters. Yep. My response to Obi-Wan series, he already had a beginning, middle, and end. Spoiler, he is translated into a Force Ghost. Yes, exactly. Yeah, blue is hope, right. And their power is like I said, has some healing abilities or something in it. Yeah, the only reason Venom looks the way he looks is because he was attracted to Spider-Man. Well, and see, there's another problem, right? Because they've completely eliminated the origin for Venom. The original reason that Spider-Man had the black outfit was he was inspired by at that time Spider-Woman's black and white costume, and he was the one who found the symbiont on Beyonder's world during the original Secret Wars. Maybe the animated version of Elseworld in Darkest Night, where Abin Sur's ring finds a young Bruce Wayne and makes him a vigilante lantern. Yeah, I have that one. That starts out as a really good story, but then this weird amalgamation of the villains start happening, and it gets kind of stupid. It's great potential that just got a little bit too on the nose. By two Guardians, they heal and can supercharge green, indigo, or violet. Gotcha. Which would make them a good sidekick. A Blue Lantern would make a great sidekick. Yep, I'm more familiar with green, yellow, and red. And, of course, the Sapphire. Sapphire is actually also... before they became ring bearers, Star Sapphire was a villain of Hal Jordan's, and you know, there's an evolution there. Indigo Tribe, Compassion, can sense where they are needed and teleport across the universe to get there. They have some other special abilities, but I forget the details. Without the Spider-Man element of Venom's backstory, he's just a generic alien. That's exactly what happened with him. That's exactly right. Did get weird with the whole JLA as the Green Lantern Corps. Yeah. Violet, Star Sapphire, founded by the women of the Guardian race. Their power is love, but it can become obsession. Right, which retroactively explains the whole Star Sapphire storyline. Anyway, guys, that is my Tuesday. I want to be sensitive to the hour and get you all back to work. So I want to thank all of you guys for making Liquid Lunch happen. I couldn't do this if you guys didn't come and hang out with me in the afternoon, so I really appreciate it. Later tonight, I hope you will come back for Live from Sparkwood in 21, where we will be doing a deep analysis on David Lynch's Lost Highway, followed immediately thereafter by the next episode of Blake 7, which is Ultra World. So, guys, I thank you so much. You guys really are wonderful. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high noon.